Transitions are strange. You're not where you were, but you're not where you're going yet. And that's usually the moment self-doubt gets the loudest. Transitions don't always come with clear markers. Sometimes there's no big decision, no dramatic ending, just a quiet shift where things start feeling different. And suddenly you're questioning everything, right? Your choices, timing, your ability to figure it out. Transitions remove familiar structure. Even when that structure wasn't perfect, it was just known. And the familiar disappears. Your brain wants certainty, clear answers, clear steps, proof you're doing the right thing. But transitions rarely give that up front. There's usually a moment in transitions where nothing is actually wrong, but nothing feels settled either. And that in between spaces can feel uncomfortable, not because you're failing, but because you're waiting without a map. And I want to share what this looked like for me. My hardest transition wasn't changing jobs. It was uprooting myself from the hometown I was comfortable in and moving 2 hours away. Not too far, but I've moved many times before, but this one was a little bit different. My body was different. My hormones were different after having a hysterectomy, and I knew I wanted something new. I didn't want clutter. I wanted a simple space, a fresh start. But when it came to pack, I stood there like a deer in headlights. And I was in pain, right? I had to move slowly, and emotionally, it was a roller coaster. I had collections, art supplies, things I've gathered over the years. Each one carried comfort. Letting go of those things felt like letting go of pieces of myself. Not because I needed them, but because they represented seasons I've already lived. And that makes the process more emotional and, I don't know, just not expected, right? What helped me wasn't motivation, it was support. And I had a good friend of mine help me begin, not by doing everything, but she helped me pack just one box. And that made a total difference in how all this kind of came about. So this is something that's called body doubling. Has someone there or on the phone, right, while you do a task, not to rush you, not to judge, just to be present. Body doubling isn't about being productive, which was a little weird. It's about feeling less alone in the moments that feel overwhelming. And sometimes knowing someone else is there is enough to help your nervous system settle. So if you can take the next step, slowly it got easier, right? I started donating, selling, letting things go. I rested a lot in between. My head was spinning, but I just kept going. One small step at a time. I wasn't a hoarder, right? I was just, I had a lot of art stuff and a lot of Star Wars stuff. And honestly, a little bit of the squirrel moment every hour. Squirrel. I know I'm not the only one. And here's what that transition taught me, honestly. Trusting yourself during a transition doesn't mean having clarity. It means trusting that you can respond to the right in front of you moment. One box, one decision, one rest. If you're in a transition right now, that's, one small thing to do, trust yourself with. Just trust yourself. That's enough to start. Transitions don't mean you're lost. They mean you're moving. And trusting yourself doesn't require certainty, just honesty. Thank you for showing up today, for listening, for giving yourself this moment. I gave myself a moment today. If you're in transition right now and you're taking one small step at a time, that totally matters. You're not behind, you're not failing, you're not adjusting. You're just an amazing person, exactly the way you are. And I'll see you next time on Tosha Lee Unmasked, and maybe I can learn how to smoke. So We'll talk to you later. Bye.